Rihanna has reportedly left A$AP Rocky for Drake. The long-running love triangle flared up again after Drake's new album Iceman dropped, with lyrics aimed directly at Rocky and shots at the couple's relationship. Stay with me because things only get messier from here. The 18-track Iceman includes guest appearances from Future, Molly Santana, and 21 Savage. Its track Make Them Cry immediately became the most streamed song in a single day of 2026 on Spotify. But the streaming numbers, those were almost secondary to what people were actually talking about. Drake got especially chilly on Iceman, and he seemed to save his coldest jabs for his former friend A$AP Rocky and his ex Rihanna. Although Drake and Rihanna haven't been a romantic item for a decade, his several public declarations of love for his ex have continued a love triangle narrative. Currently, Rihanna is settled down with Rocky, whom she has 3 children with, and is rumored to have secretly married. But that hasn't stopped Drake from taking some pointed digs at the relationship. In a bunch of new lyrics, 3 songs on 3 separate songs across the project, Drake laid into the couple, and each one landed differently. The first was Burning Bridges. Drake meditates on a fractured friendship and lost love on the pointed track Burning Bridges, which includes a bar that seems to be about Rocky's latest album. You saw my brother. You was trying to fix it. Now you drop your album and you backed us in. The brother is likely Drake's ally, DJ Academics, who's featured on Iceman. And Rocky did an interview with Academics to promote Don't Be Dumb, which ended up including several Drake disses. Then Drake goes further. At another point on the track, Drake raps that he'd be more brutal with his adversary, but I still got love for your missus. Then in the chorus, the rapper questions just how supportive the relationship really is between his rival and their partner. Your baby mama ain't even post your single. Damn, where's she at? That bar alone broke the internet. The suggestion that Rihanna didn't post A$AP Rocky's single, whether true or not, was the kind of insinuation that Drake knows exactly what it would do. The bars sparked a flurry among Drake fans who took to Rihanna's social media to spam her comment section with them. Many opted to share Drake gifts, while others simply dropped remarks about how she ain't even post a single from Rocky's latest album. Rihanna actually had publicly praised Don't Be Dumb on social media and attended its release. But facts rarely stop the internet when a narrative is this good. Then came Firm Friends. Pretty much everyone in Drake's orbit catches strays on Firm Friends. And of course that includes Rocky and Rihanna. Drake literally spells out his hatred for his former friend with the acronym-filled lyric, __ A$AP. That's some __ that you could do for me. Later in the track, Drake seems to bring up inconsistencies in Rocky and Rihanna's timeline. Tell him why you really hate me, and what year did she date me? That last line is important and we'll come back to it. Then came Ran to Atlanta. Drake directly references fellow rappers who constantly bring him up and mentions sharing women with them. I get mentioned a lot by a bunch of people that I wish I never met. With sharing women that I already __ at the height of my success. 3 songs, 3 different angles, and social media platforms exploded with fan theories, reaction videos, and lyric breakdowns. Within hours of release, Charlemagne the God had suggested before the release that Drake had choice words for A$AP Rocky and DJ Khaled on Iceman, and that turned out to be an understatement. But what made these bars sting harder than usual was not just the words, it was the history behind them. A history that goes back almost 2 decades. And to understand why this particular moment in 2026 hit the way it did, we need to go back to where all of this started. Before A$AP Rocky ever entered the picture, Drake and Rihanna had one of the most publicly complicated non-relationships in music history. A slow-burning, always denying, never quite defined situationship that stretched across the better part of a decade. And it started, as many great stories do, in a restaurant. It all began back in 2005 when the Toronto rapper encountered Rihanna. The first time I met Robin Finney was 2005. Drake revealed at the 2016 MTV Mars. Rihanna was shooting the music video for P-Day Replay at a restaurant in Toronto and was introduced to Drake, who played background music at the restaurant as people ate their dinner. Drake was nobody then. Rihanna was already Rihanna. And that gap in fame, in power, and how each of them felt about the other would define everything that came after. Shortly after Rihanna's very public split from Chris Brown in 2009, after Brown's assault of the singer, Page Six reported that Drake and Rihanna were spotted at Lucky Strike in New York City. Page Six disclosed that they saw spotted Rihanna drinking whiskey and apple juice and making out with him all night. The first of many rumored moments that Rihanna would later downplay and Drake would later put into song. Rihanna stopped by Angie Martinez's radio show to address the rumors that she was dating Drake. She shut down the rumors and insisted she and Drake were still friends. Drake, for his part, was not quite so casual about it. Drake acted like a spurned lover, writing a verse about Rihanna in his song Fireworks and telling the New York Times that she treated him like a pawn after he wrote a song for her that never got released. "I was a pawn," he said. "You know what she was doing to me? She was doing exactly what I've done to so many women throughout my life, which is show them quality time then disappear. I was like, wow, this feels terrible." That line is revealing in ways Drake probably didn't intend, because what he described feeling like a placeholder seems to be the feeling he has never entirely shaken when it comes to Rihanna. Since 2009, rumors, songs, and shared stage moments kept their relationship in the spotlight. They worked together on hits like What's My Name, Take Care, and Work. Their chemistry was a constant topic, but it never settled into permanence. The peaks and valleys of their connection were relentless. Drake and Rihanna were spotted having dinner for two in NYC at Sons of Essex before the 2013 MTV Mars. Drake appeared on The Ellen DeGeneres Show, where he opened up about his relationship with Rihanna. "Yeah, great girl. We had our moment. Always support and have love for her. But the feelings clearly ran deeper than that public restraint." Drake confessed to Rolling Stone that Rihanna is his ultimate fantasy and was later seen traveling through Paris with her. Then came the 2016 MTV Mars, the moment that Drake fans still talk about. "She's someone I've been in love with since I was 22 years old." Drake told the crowd, "She's one of my best friends in the world. All my adult life, I've looked up to her. Even though she's younger than me, she's a living, breathing legend in our industry." That speech, public, vulnerable, and unrequited, became one of the most dissected celebrity moments of the decade. The term "just friends" came up often when Rihanna and Drake were coaxed into discussing their relationship. But in a 2018 profile for Vogue, Rihanna made their status crystal clear when she said they were no longer even friends. Not just not dating, not even friends. That was the door closing, and into the space that was left behind walked someone who had been there the whole time. A$AP Rocky and Rihanna's friendship predates their romance by almost a decade, and the way it evolved slowly, deliberately, and very much in public made the eventual relationship feel like it had been inevitable all along. Rocky told Jimmy Fallon that he and Rihanna first crossed paths outside a New York City club before his rise in the rap game. "I wasn't famous at the time. She was obviously Rihanna." He laughed. "I couldn't get in. I was with my friend, the late great Virgil Abloh and Matthew Williams. We kind of was getting into it with the bouncers, and she came out and we locked eyes right away. I was just like in a daze, and I was a little embarrassed that she caught me bickering with the guard and stuff like that. That's the moment. A bouncer, a club, a locked gaze, no grand romantic gesture, just two people seeing each other. And from that moment, their friendship built slowly and with purpose through fashion, music, and genuine personal connection. Rihanna opened the 2012 MTV Video Music Awards with a performance of Cockiness Love It before A$AP Rocky stepped on stage to deliver a verse for the remix. But the way he grabbed her backside, gave her a kiss on the neck, and walked off made everyone think they found love in a hopeful place. Rocky accompanied Rihanna as the opening act of the North American leg of her Diamonds World Tour in spring 2013. Riri did the honors of supporting Rocky by playing his love interest and fellow fashion aficionado in the September 2013 music video for Fashion Killer. All of this was happening. The chemistry, the touring, the creative collaboration, while Drake was still publicly declaring his feelings for Rihanna. That context is everything. It wasn't until sometime in 2020, when the coronavirus pandemic hit, that the two would officially turn their friendship into a romance. "He became my family in that time," the Fenty beauty mogul revealed in her April 2022 Vogue cover story. People don't get out of the friend zone very easily with me. Rihanna confirmed her romance with A$AP began at the end of 2019. I've seen him in relationships. He's seen me in relationships. She explained, we knew what we're capable of, and the trouble that we could bring to each other's lives. We can make or break each other's hearts. And so, we started dating with a lot of caution. Caution from a woman who had watched Drake declare his love on an MTV stage and still felt nothing romantic in return. Rihanna didn't enter this relationship lightly. She entered it knowing exactly what it meant. And Rocky, he had no reservations whatsoever. When GQ profiled Rocky in 2021, he didn't hold back. "The love of my life," he said plainly. "My lady," he added. "So much better when you got the one. She amounts to probably like 1,000,000 of the other ones. I think when you know, you know." The family grew fast. The pair welcomed their first child together, a baby boy named Rizza, born in May 2022, who wouldn't remain an only child for long. In August 2023, a second son named Riot Rose came along. In May 2025, the couple revealed at the Met Gala that they were expecting baby number 3. Daughter Rocky arrived at September. 3 children, an unconfirmed marriage that multiple sources have alluded to, and Rocky calling her the one in interview after interview. Meanwhile, Drake was still apparently in his feelings about the whole thing. The line from Iceman's firm friends, "Tell him why. You really hate me, and what year did she date me?" is Drake asking a very specific question, a question about timeline, about who Rihanna was with and when and whether there was ever any overlap. It's a pointed insinuation, and it leads us to the moment when Rocky decided he'd had enough of Drake's insinuations. By January 2026, A$AP Rocky had been silent on record for almost 8 years. His last studio album before Don't Be Dumb came out in 2018. And when he finally returned, he came back with a very specific score to settle. A$AP Rocky held nothing back on Stole Ya Flow, a song on his new album, Don't Be Dumb, that references Rihanna and sound a lot like a Drake diss track. The lyrics were surgical. He didn't just take a shot at Drake. He took a shot at the wound that Drake has been nursing for over a decade. The key lines, Rocky rap, "First you stole my flow, so I stole your __." He also let it be known that his baby mama is Rihanna, so we unbothered. It was a pointed message wrapped in confidence that stirred the pot without hesitation. These were not random bars. Rocky was making a claim of ownership, not just over the woman, but over the cultural moment. He wasn't just saying, "I have Rihanna." He was saying, "I have Rihanna, and you spent a decade chasing something that came naturally to me." And then the move that left no room for ambiguity. Rocky sat down for interviews and confirmed what everyone already knew. In the New York Times podcast posted on January 14th, one day prior to the release of Rocky's new LP, he acknowledged that he was already prepared for the internet to assume that Drizzy was the target of the antagonistic bars on Stole Ya Flow. Because after all, I think we all know. He said of the track's subject when pressed for what happened between himself and Drake. Rocky said, "I started just seeing people who started out as friends and just became foes. Seemed like they was unhappy for you and started sending shots." Then in a sit-down with Apple Music's Ebro Darden, Rocky went even further. He named the reason. Rocky explained that despite the icy nature of their frayed relationship, there's no real smoke between him and Drake. But things went wrong over females. "This thing between us, it's not real smoke, but I just don't F with him." He candidly said, "We was once friends. I feel like it's over females." I feel like he wasn't happy, and he expressed that. The Harlem rapper also labeled Drake as soft for sending repeated shots at Rihanna in recent years. And Rocky thinks it's time for Drizzy to get over whatever happened in the past between them. Soft. That word is doing a lot of work in this feud because Rocky isn't just disputing Drake's claim on Rihanna. He's disputing Drake's emotional posture. The decade of songs about her, the VMA speech, the bars on For All the Dogs. Rocky sees all of that as weakness, as a man who cannot let go. And the contrast Rocky is drawing is sharp. While Drake is still writing songs about a woman who moved on. Years ago, Rocky is the one raising 3 kids with her, calling her the love of his life and walking into courtrooms together. That courtroom moment, by the way, matters here. In February 2025, A$AP Rocky received a not guilty verdict in his trial stemming from a 2021 incident. The moment was emotional and immediate. Rocky rushed into Rihanna's arms in the courtroom, visibly relieved. Addressing the jury, afterward, he said, "Thank you all for saving my life. Thank you all for making the right decision." She was there in the courtroom for the verdict. That is not the behavior of a woman who was quietly drifting away from her partner. And yet, Drake dropped Iceman 4 months later and resumed his attack. Now that Rocky and Rihanna are together and parents of 3 small children, the rapper has especially stepped up to defend his family, even against Drake. And when Rocky is provoked, he doesn't panic. He answers with precision. He answered with YA flow. The question now was, what would Drake say back? The answer came on May 15th, 2026. Drake dropped not 1 album. He dropped 3. Within the 43 songs released across Iceman, Maid of Honor, and Habibi, Drake took aim at many a celebrity. And among all the targets on that sprawling project, the A$AP Rocky and Rihanna angle was the one that refused to stay contained. The feud burned bright in 2024, culminating with Lamar taking the Super Bowl halftime show stage and winning 5 Grammy Awards for the diss track. Iceman is Drake's first studio album since 2023's For All the Dogs, and the 3 records are his first to be released since his all-encompassing beef with Kendrick Lamar and his ensuing lawsuit against Universal Music Group. So, the context is not just a love triangle. It is a man who has been publicly battered, legally embattled, and culturally challenged, now coming back swinging at everyone who in his mind left him standing alone. And Rocky and Rihanna are on that list. It seems that much of Drake's animosity towards Rocky stems from a perceived betrayal in recent years. The 2 artists were friends and collaborators in the early 2010s, but fans believe Rocky dissed Drake in his 2026 album, Don't Be Dumb. At the time, Rocky confirmed he was no longer close with Drake, alluding to a spat over Rihanna. But here's where the story gets complicated and honest, because the title of this video poses a question. Did Rihanna leave A$AP Rocky for Drake? The answer, based on everything we know, is no. Although Drake and Rihanna haven't been a romantic item for a decade, his several public declarations of love for his ex have continued a love triangle narrative. Currently, Rihanna is settled down with Rocky, whom she has 3 children with, and is rumored to have secretly married. Despite years of rumors and various instances of A$AP calling Rihanna his wife, the loving couple still has never publicly confirmed whether they are married or not. Despite welcoming Rocky just a few months prior, Rihanna hinted she was already ready for baby number 4 by commenting on an Instagram video about wanting to get pregnant in 2026. This is not the behavior of a woman in the process of leaving. And when Rocky put out the Don't Be Dumb album, Rihanna wasn't quietly absent. She showed up, praised the project, and attended the release. Rihanna shouted out A$AP Rocky's upcoming tour after Drake's disses. That is a woman who is very much still in the relationship. Rocky spoke about the depth of their partnership. "We have so many of the same interests," he said of Rihanna. "We were addicted to watching documentaries like the Bob Marley one. Watching films together is so fun. We must have watched El Canty 15 times." Of course, Rihanna has changed in the more than 2 decades since she and A$AP became friends, then partners, and then parents. She became a mother in that time span. He pointed out, "And that certainly changes you. I wanted to be a dad before I got with my girl." He told Esquire in January, "I wanted a little baby girl or boy, whatever God gave, and God blessed me with 3. So what is actually happening here? What is the real story beneath the title? The real story is Drake. It is a man who across 2 decades, multiple albums, a VMA stage, multiple diss tracks, and now an entire triple album has never fully processed the fact that Rihanna chose someone else. That the woman he called a living, breathing legend in our industry in front of millions of people in 2016, went on to build a family, a marriage reportedly, and a deeply rooted life with a man who used to be Drake's collaborator. Although Drake and Rihanna haven't been a romantic item for a decade, his several public declarations of love for his ex have continued a love triangle narrative. But that hasn't stopped Drake from taking some pointed digs at the relationship. In a bunch of new lyrics, the question the internet keeps asking, Is Rihanna leaving Rocky for Drake? Is actually Drake's question. It is the question he has been asking in song after song after song for going on 15 years. Will she come back? Does she regret it? Does the baby mama ain't even post a single line mean the relationship is fracturing? The response to Iceman reveals how deeply invested audiences remain in rap's larger cultural narratives. While the constant revisiting of old feuds risks overshadowing the music itself, Drake leans fully into the chaos and spectacle that have always fueled his career. Rihanna, meanwhile, is building a house, 3 kids, a rumored secret marriage, a 4th pregnancy hinted at a tour to support. She commented on an Instagram video about wanting to get pregnant again in 2026. She stood in a courtroom next to Rocky when he heard his verdict. She showed up. Rihanna and A$AP Rocky are the definition of modern love. Their story started as a close friendship built on mutual respect, shared creativity, and years of truly knowing each other. Long before romance entered the picture, they were already aligned in values, humor, and vision. As friendship shifted into love, it happened quietly and with care. Rihanna and Rocky grew into a power couple on their own terms, choosing emotional depth and real connection. Today they are raising 3 children together, balancing family, fashion, music, and creativity with an ease that feels rare. And A$AP Rocky, when asked about any of this, he said, "I think hip-hop tactics and beefs are like WWF. It's like wrestling all the way. But this thing between us, it's not real smoke, but I just don't fuck with him. Not real smoke." Unbothered. 3 kids reportedly married. Rihanna has not left A$AP Rocky for Drake. What actually happened is the inverse, and it has been unfolding for years. In public, in music, in bars and counterbars and VMAs, speeches and courtroom reunions, Drake has never fully left Rihanna. And that distinction, quiet but crucial, is what every single one of those Iceman bars is actually.